Hi, welcome. We're going to work on our flip here for level 4, and as you can see I've already opened up my still 2, and before we get started here I want you to go ahead and check and make sure you have everything set up right. With the landscape view here, in case you didn't do that before, be sure to go to File, Document Properties. It'll come up with this lovely box here, and you're going to make sure landscape is checked and then close that out. You want it to fill the entire screen, so you're going to go with View, Zoom, and Page. Your lines need to be solid, regular, none sort of lines. So if you need to, you may have to redo that. And it needs to be a completed shape, or it won't work for part of these things. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add liquid to our decanter, and then we're going to add liquid to the wine glass. And we are going to start using layers. So I'm going to go ahead, and I have open here my layers tab, and you can go to layer and layers there to open it up. And we have one layer right now, which is what your decanter and wine glass are currently on. I'm going to add a layer called decanter, and I'm going to click add. And all I did was I hit this plus button right here and I added it. I'm going to double click on layer 1 and I'm going to rename it wine glass. Okay? So now, to get the decanter on the decanter layer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that decanter. I'm going to use my Control and X to cut it. I'm going to click on the decanter layer. I'm just going to edit, paste in place. You can go with paste or whatever. I just like to paste it in place because I positioned it there. So now if I close the eye of the layer, it's on the right one. And I close the eye of the wine glass, I can see that's on the right one. So while we're working with one item, we want to go ahead and lock up that other item. That way we can't mess it up in any way. I love that. And you need to be clicked on the layer you're currently working on. So let's go ahead and add the shape here. And I'm going to create a circle here. Now, we need to make sure with our settings that we have this set to not have a fill with it. So we're going to go to Object, Fill and Stroke, and we're going to click the X there. For my stroke paint, we've got solid stroke style. I'm going to go 1.000 and hit enter so it's the same as the outside. All right. You're going to then try to get your liquid to be as close on the edge of your decanter as possible without crossing it or touching it. That gives it the appearance of glass later on when we get there. So now I'm going to take and I'm going to go to Object and Path. I always do that one. Path and Object to Path. Okay? And you're going to get 4 nodes here. Before you have the object to path, it's only 3 nodes, and it doesn't work right. So you have to do that that path and object to path first for it to get your 4 nodes and work. So we're going to click on this top node, and we're going to hit delete. Just your delete key on your keyboard. Then we're going to click on the line segment in between the top 2 nodes. And we're going to go to this minus right here. Whoops, wrong one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There it is, 6. All right, so delete segments between 2 non-endpoint nodes. Now let me make sure that's selected and click that one. All right, haven't had enough coffee apparently this morning. What that does is that then cuts that line segment so that you then have that open. Now we're going to draw another ellipse right on top here. and I always kind of adjust it for what I kind of think it should be. Then I'm going to take my select tool and bring it down. And it's just supposed to touch the edges of that circle there. And I did pretty good here. I'm going to try that again. And if you want to get exact, because we're using that math standard, which is to make it precise, I'm going to go down just a little. Look and see how it's touching there. Come back. All right. And so maybe move it up just a touch using my arrow key. Still not sure there. I can always bring it down a little like this. All right, that looks pretty good. So now I have some liquid in my decanter. Let's go back to View, Zoom, and Page. All right, so now we have our liquid in our decanter. I'm going to go ahead and lock it up, and I'm going to unlock the wine glass, and I'm going to click on the wine glass here. And I've actually decided I want, it's not too bad. All right, so they tell you to go ahead and do a circle. I don't do that. Remember, I always teach you the easier way of doing it. So we're going to take and we're going to draw a triangle here. I'm going to use my zoom tool to make it just a little bigger so I can see it better, use our precision there. And what I found is if you come down about a third of the way from the top or to a half, that works best because you're going to add that ellipse there and you need to have it just right. So I'm just going to draw a triangle there. All right. And if you need to, you can use your node to move up a side if you need to and adjust it. That looks a little better. All right, then the cool thing here is we're going to click in between these two here, and I've found that you can go ahead and remove it without doing the path and object to path thing. So we're going to click on this one here, but that just works on the Bezier ones. It doesn't work on the ellipse one for some reason. All right, so now we're going to take, and I'm going to show you a cool trick to make everything look like it's the right angle. So let's go back to View, Zoom, and Page. I'm going to take this ellipse right here, and so I have to unlock my decanter. And I'm going to take this ellipse, and I'm going to go Control C and then Control V. Now, if you take and you position it right down here, and you move it over, and actually it didn't quite give me the same angle, so I'm going to go ahead and adjust it. Sometimes you can get it just right, but you want to try and get it to be like very similar to that. All right, so let's zoom in, make sure it's looking just right. And for some reason the weight on that's less, so I'm going to adjust that there. There we go. You always want to adjust that before you adjust these parts. So that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to copy that one and paste it, and then to make sure that it looks like it matches, I'm just going to line it up with one corner. I'm going to drag it over to the other side. Now it looks like I need to come down just a little. And bring it in just well. There you go. All right, so that makes it look like it matches, and that's always much better for your wine glass liquid. All right, let's go view, zoom, page, take a look at this. Looks great. All right, we're gonna go ahead and lock those up. The next step we're gonna do is we're gonna create the fruit bowl. So we need to add our layer. So I'm gonna click plus, and I'm gonna say fruit bowl. All right, and I'm gonna put a space in there. I'm not sure that's a combined word there. All right, so we have the fruit bowl. We're clicked on our fruit bowl layer, and we're going to first make an ellipse, and we're going to make another ellipse that overlaps it, and then we're going to make a rectangle. And for some reason my rectangle has the corners rounded, so I'm just going to pull that up. You may have that same thing if you mess with it at all, and I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to draw a select box around all of it, and I'm going to go to Object, Align and Distribute. And I love this one because it lines everything up for me. So if I use this third one over, it will line those up. All right, that looks great. So I'm going to do path, object to path. And I'll show you just so you can see that there's 3 nodes there. Now I'm going to go path, object to path. Now I've got 4. Now we're going to do this on the rectangle as well. Path, object to path. All right, so this is where the fun comes in. All right, on the top one, I'm going to click that top node, hit the delete key on my keyboard. Now, this is kind of fun. We're going to take and put this handle on top of the opposite node. And what that does is it makes it nice and flat. That's one of my tricks. All right, now I'm going to take this rectangle and I'm going to take the upper right and move it in, and the upper left and move it in. Okay? See if I like that, if that looks good. I'm actually going to move this whole thing up just a little using my arrows. You have to make sure that it still overlaps. Okay? And I'm going to bring that down and in like that. All right, looks good. Now comes the fun. I'm going to highlight all of it. Okay, I'm going to check one more time to make sure it's centered, just because that's how I roll. And then I'm going to go to Path and Union. Ta-da! Fruit bowl. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video on how to make the shapes for level 4. Let me know if you have any questions.